Hello and welcome to this video tutorial on how to get up and running with Group Manager for Configuration Manager 2012. By now I assume you would have already downloaded the zip file and will have that in a convenient location. Go ahead and extract that file. Okay, within there we should find, here's multiple versions, we should find the files we're looking for. Go ahead and copy those to your target directory. So here I've already staged them in the E directory. Once that's done, we'll need to edit the script file itself. So right click and select edit. Depending on your operating system, that might spawn the integrated scripting environment. Immediately we care about the core configuration. The first thing that you note is that you'll need to configure the group space DN. The quickest way to do that is to open Active Directory Users and Computers. Go and ensure you've got the advanced feature enabled from the view menu. Find the organizational unit that will ultimately contain your groups and go ahead, right click Properties, the Attribute Editor tab, and under Distinguish Name you'll then find a convenient way to copy and paste that into your DN path. After that's been done, please enter your 3-character SCCM site code and point me towards your Configuration Manager primary site server. So this is the one with your not a site system, but the actual primary site server itself. Under scheduling configuration, please enter the number of minutes that we will look back in time. So the default that is packaged up as part of the solution says to run every 5 minutes. So here we've got it set to 6, which gives us a 1-minute overlap. So that's maybe being over thorough. If you want to match it up with your schedule, there should theoretically be nothing wrong with that. This is the sleep interval. So specifically what this is the number of seconds that this script should wait after machines have been added or removed from a device collection or a user collection in SCCM. So this is actually the period of time that we give Configuration Manager a chance to refresh, and you're going to see that in the live demo. And then finally set up your login directory and your log level. For this demonstration I'll be setting it to verbose so we can have a good look. Specifically, I've left it as verbose because I want to show you some of the considerations around permissions. Especially permissions required to connect remotely to a Configuration Manager client and invoke a machine policy and an evaluation cycle, those methods. Under prerequisites, please make sure that you've got the RSAT tools, the Active Directory PowerShell command list from RSAT installed, and then you just need to decide on the group attribute that will host the corresponding SCCM collection ID. Really, the default for that is notes, but we're going to see that in literally just a minute when we set up the groups and the collections themselves. So without further ado, let's save this, close out. We can close that, and why don't we start inside of the Configuration Manager console. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new device collection here, and I'm just going to give it the S, which in my environment is my shorthand for static membership, and in here I'm going to put AD Group Manager Demo. Okay, and I'm going to limit that collection, limited to whatever you want. Actually, let me choose something. I know the desktops are in there as well. Here I'm going to leave this absolutely blank, so I've got no query rule whatsoever. I'm also not going to use dynamic updates, and you can see here I've left the default schedule every 7 days. This is very good for removing machines. To be fair, the solution doesn't require this to be enabled at all. You're more than welcome to deselect this as well if you'd really like, because all the membership rules are manually added and removed as required. Okay, it's just telling me there's no members, and we'll deal with that obviously soon. That's what the whole point of this. We close out of this. We see a little magnifying glass. If I just do a refresh, just wait for it to finish, come to a restful state. Let's give it a sec. Right, there you can see it's now resting, 0 members, absolutely empty. And what I want to do is just open the properties for that and very quickly grab the collection ID. Again, you'll find with the solution we always work with primary keys. So here we're not going to mess around with any of these volatile attributes. If we just copy that out, we just need that in the clipboard. Let's go over to Active Directory and let us create a new group. So this is the group that will contain the users or resources that AD group demo. And inside here, I'm going to add that collection ID. Now, this is the attribute I'm talking about. So if you're going to adopt the solution in your lab and you like the cut of it, you think it's going to help, please make sure that obviously you need to marry all existing groups. So you might have hundreds and hundreds of pre-existing groups. You just need to make sure that you update the corresponding group with the collection ID. As I said before, you've already read the introduction, so you'll know that the solution predominantly addresses having a query rule on here, which actually ultimately maps back to the group itself. Okay, I'm going to leave the members for now, just so that I'll actually not put myself over any thresholds. If I come under schedule task, which is the next logical place, here I've got a custom folder. If I just import the canned schedule task, I give you the scheduled task, it's the XML as its sample. You can see here it's running under the system account. And that makes sense because I'm going to give the easiest demonstration whereby I'm running this on the actual SCCM server itself, and obviously that will have WMI permissions to SCCM, the ability to add and remove collections. But also as a domain member, because of course CFG1 is a domain member, it'll be able to read the Active Directory group membership. And then on one of the machines I'm going to use in the demo, I've actually gone ahead and added CFG1 computer account to the local admins, and on the other machine I won't. And I'll help that we can do that specifically to look at the logs. Under triggers, I've got the setup to run every 5 minutes indefinitely. You can change this to suit yourself, and then please just make sure that you've got your PSD file properly set up and pointed in the right location. Alright, let me just do a refresh here and see what we're looking at in terms of times. So the next runtime will be in 2 minutes, in just actually a minute and a little bit. So why don't we wait and see if we can get a schedule update going, and in the meantime I'll add some members and just talk around the solution for a little bit. So first of all, let's pop into AD. And let's add some computer members. Now you may be populating these through a variety of mechanisms. I've seen loads of different examples. For example, you might have Snow License Manager putting groups in here. You might have Forefront Identity Manager putting computers in here for self-service or user accounts, or you've got a help desk function that are doing it. If we just select find and I just find some samples, I beg your pardon, we're going to use this as a device group. Just find some machines. And there's actually one thing I forgot to do. Am I going to have time to do it is the question. No, I'm going to pause this. Is actually set up some deployments, because currently right now this collection is empty, but it has no software to run. So I'm just going to quickly go ahead and do that for you now. So I'll deploy a command line to the machine. It's just easier just for the sake of the demonstration. Yep, no members yet, that's the point. Okay. And I'm going to set this one to required. Let's go ahead and do that now. And always rerun this program. Okay, and just leave all the rest of the defaults there. Brilliant. So now we've got a, if we go back to our collection itself, excuse me, we should find that we've actually got now a deployment sitting against this collection. So, sorry, let's go back and let's kick that off back to enabled. Okay, and I guess that means we're going to have to wait a further 2 minutes, 5 minutes in fact, but it's okay, I'm not going to wait that long. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up a pre-existing CM trace config setup I've got here. In the top pane, I've got the policy evaluator for the system, which we actually have rights to actually change, firewalls down, we've got rights to actually make that change. And then at the bottom, I've just actually, as you can imagine, I've just opened a blank version of the log file in anticipation of kicking that off. So let me go ahead now and run that. Sorry, one last little pre-flight check here just to make sure I haven't done anything stupid. And let's get going. Oakley dokes. Sorry, I'm being impatient. There we can see the tool starting up. Okay, I don't know why there we go. Sorry, guys. All right. So as expected, as anticipated, we've had a change. There's that new group we've created. It's been created, changed since the date. And what we're going to do is we're going to process that. We're going to read the notes attribute. We're going to pull out the ID for that particular client. And we're going to look to see if there are any pre-existing rules for that machine. Here we can see that it says that there are no pre-existing membership rules for client 3, nor are there any pre-existing membership rules for client 1. So it's made those rules, and now it's sleeping for 60 seconds just to give the collection a chance to update. So if we pop into the collection again, we can see here in the current view, there's 0. You don't have to do anything, no collection updates, none of that. If I just come out and back just to give you a nice clean refresh, we can see that automatically it's added to clients. So we haven't had to wait for any AD discovery or any query rules to run. It's immediately added 2 new direct membership rules. And if we come back here, I just want to have a look at the date stamps here. So we got 22:12 plus 1 minute. Oh, there we go. And if we look at the top, we can immediately see, there you go. As soon as the sleep period was over, it was able to connect remotely to client 1. And here we can see it's invoked. Good spelling on invoke, but we've already invoked those 2 methods. If I were to minimize now, and I'm actually connected, there you can see it's automatically run the calculator application. Well, I'd like to thank you very much for joining me for this demonstration. As you can see, Group Manager for Active Directory Group Manager for Configuration Manager greatly enhances the performance of your solution, while at the same time taking a dramatic load off the collection evaluator and the management points. This solution, if we just wait long enough, it'll run again and it will show that there are no further updates. So again, the real key behind this is not only the ability, if the machine's online and you have sufficient permissions and sufficient environmental an environment to do this, it's not just about reaching out to the machine and invoking a remote run of the machine policy update, which is very useful, of course, but mainly it's the speed at which we can formulate an LDAP query, a very efficient LDAP query, which we can ask the LDAP server and say, what, anything changed? No, nothing's changed. All right, fine, then do not even bother SCCM. Well, okay, thank you again very much for your time, and please do let me know if you find this useful. Thank you again. Bye bye.